Alright people, it's Spratt here, and before you rage at me for the title, let me just say what the gameplay is and then I'll discuss that. This is a ballista game on standoff. It's a first round game of domination. It's quite fast paced, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Get quite a lot of kills. I think it's pretty good. So the title, you guys are probably thinking, what the hell do you mean? Why don't you want Quickscoping in Ghosts? You're a sniper, why would you not want that? Well, basically what happened is one of the developers of Ghosts said that there's not going to be any Quickscoping in Ghosts, and I don't know what he fully meant by that. You know, he could have took it out altogether. It could be like, you know, pre-patch Black Ops 1 sniping where you couldn't quickscope at all because of the sway, or they could have slowed it down, or they could have added a perk in there that needed it. I don't know. You know, they didn't say any details. They just said there's no Quickscoping in Ghosts. So whatever they meant by that, we will have to see and wait. But I was really excited. Like when I first heard about it, I came home and I looked back on Twitter, you know, when it first got announced, and everybody was raging, you know, everybody was like, they're ruining the game already, it's not even out yet, why would they do that, why would they take Quickscoping out? And I was just thinking, well, just think about it for a second. How many of you guys are just bored of sniping now? How many of you guys are bored of running around Quickscoping? Guys, you know, it's not the toughest thing in the world now, and I'm not saying that in a bragging way, but if you think how many more people can use snipers now, and that's just down to the game mechanics, like this, because it's so much easier to snipe on these games. And for people who red gun and hate snipers because they think it's a cheap way of getting kills and all this stuff, if you think if all those snipers who are good with a sniper, or majority of those who are good with a sniper, pulled out a red gun, they'd kill you many more times than they would with a sniper. It's just how it would be. So I don't know why people rage at us. Because if I pulled out a red gun, and I'm not saying I'm amazing, but I would kill them so many more times, and it's just how it is. Because although it is quite easy now, it's still a challenge compared to red gunning. And that brings me to say that I'm not the best at Black Ops 2, I'm not the best at Modern Warfare 3, I'm not the best at Black Ops 1, but Black Ops 1 was my favourite just because of how much of a challenge it was compared to every other Call of Duty. Like Black Ops 1 pre-patch was just so much fun, because how many people could run around and be slightly aggressive at that game without being able to quickscope? Like, that's what I'm really excited for, because I personally am just so bored of not being able to challenge myself. Because when I first got into Call of Duty, you know, Call of Duty 3 and Call of Duty 4, I was red gunning and I was, you know, starting to get better, and I thought, well, I'm doing quite well every game now, I want to challenge myself. And that's when I started quickscoping and sniping, you know, because it was fun and it was a nice challenge, because I'd never done it before, and I was obviously doing bad at first, but it was a nice way to change my playstyle up and become a better player in general, because all it does is help. If you start sniping and you turn to red gunning, you'll be a great red gunner, because it just helps all your reaction time, you become smarter, and I really enjoyed it. And that's the reason I first got into sniping. So when Call of Duty 4 finished, World at War, then Modern Warfare 2, and then Black Ops 1 came out, you know, I never ended up challenging myself until that game again, because I just got so used to playing that game, or those games, because it was just the same sniping in every game. And then Modern Warfare 3 came out and it's the same sniping again. Black Ops 2 came out and it's pretty much the same sniping again. And Black Ops 1 was the only game where it was a little bit different, and I really loved it because it was just so much of a challenge. Obviously when I started to play it more, I got better at the game. It wasn't as hard as it used to be, but that's because I put the hours in, and not a lot of people put the hours in, put the time in to become better at that game. You know, whether it was pre-patch or post-patch, I still love the game. If Ghost is going to be like pre-patch, I'm super excited, because you have to completely change your playstyle. Because if you can't quickscope at all, like if there's a sway on there and you can't run around and quickscope and drop people so quick, you have to become so smart and so much smarter as a player, because otherwise you're just going to die all the time. And that's what I'm actually excited to see, who sticks with it, who actually puts the time in to become a better player. Because I know a lot of people with Black Ops 1 just really, you know, didn't like the game in general, but some just gave up because it was just a lot harder than the other games. And I don't really know what's going to happen with Ghosts with Quickscope. And like I said, it's just kind of, he just said it's not in there, but I don't know in what way it's not in there. But the only problem I'm seeing here, because like I said, I'm really excited for the game. I was excited for it before that, but now I'm super excited because it's going to be so much fun if it's going to be a challenge, because I really want a challenge on a new game. Because how many of you are just bored of just doing the same thing every year because they don't change the sniping up? Like on the last, what, 6 Call of Duties, one of them's been different in sniping and people disliked it. Like, I don't know if that's just me or if any of you guys feel the same way, but I'm just one of those who wants to challenge myself, otherwise it's just getting a bit boring. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I just want to say, like, oh yeah, actually I forgot to say, I was going to say the one downside of this that I can see is that if they take quickscoping out and you can't run around and quickscope all the time, you just have to play like pre-patch Black Ops 1. The only downside of that is I'm seeing is how entertaining it will be to watch. That's the only downside I'm seeing. I don't know if it'll be super fun to watch, but I know playing it will be a challenge and exciting, and I'm really excited. I'm not gonna lie. So a lot of you are probably gonna hate me for this, some of you may agree, but that's just my opinion on the future. I'm really excited for the game now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this gameplay. I hope you enjoyed the commentary. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.